international conference under the timely and significant theme, Smart Societies, Wellness, Innovation and Sustainability in a Changing World.
Featuring 14 multidisciplinary conference tracks, IRCUWU 2025 provides a dynamic platform for academics, researchers, scientists, technologists, industry experts, professionals, and emerging scholars to engage collaboratively and share their innovative discoveries and creative solutions. The conference endeavors to advance the frontiers of knowledge, foster wellness and sustainable living, and accelerate technological advancement in an ever-evolving global landscape. Through this distinguished gathering, Uva University reaffirms its dedication to strengthening the national and international research collaborations while making meaningful contributions to societal advancement and sustainable development.
To formally commence today's proceedings, now I respectfully invite the following dignitaries to light the oil lamp. The chief guest, Senior Professor Kolita Bandara Wijesekara, the Vice Chancellor of UVA University of Sri Lanka. The keynote speaker, Vidya Jyoti, Professor V.H.W. Disanayaka. Professor Saman K. Herath, the Dean, Faculty of Animal Science and Export Agriculture. Professor Amila Sandaruwan Ratnayaka, the Dean, Faculty of Applied Sciences. Professor Chaturanga Sena Ratna, the Dean, Faculty of Technological Studies and also the Chairman of the Research Committee of UVA University of Sri Lanka. Senior Professor Mudita Vidhana Patirana, the Dean, Faculty of Medicine. Mr. Dhananjay Navaratna, the Dean, Faculty of Management. Members of Council of UVA University of Sri Lanka.
Mr. Nishanta Navela, the Acting Registrar. Ms. Taranga Pereira, the Bursa, Dr. T. Pradeepan, the Acting Librarian, Professor Dinesh Jayasena, the Editor-in-Chief of IRCUWU 2025, Dr. Chamil Nayanakanta, the Conference Coordinator of IRCUWU 2025, Dr. Nayanatara Samarasinghe, the Conference Secretary of IRCUWU 2025, Mr. Piyumal, the Operational Manager of the Bank of Ceylon Supragrade Branch, Badulla, the main sponsor of IRCUWU 2025, representing the sponsors of the conference, and a presenter representing the conference presenters to join us lighting in the oil lamp.
Ladies and gentlemen, I extend a heartfelt invitation to Dr. Chamil Nayanakanta, the conference coordinator of IRCUWU 2025, to offer a pleasing welcome.
Good morning to everybody. Respected Venerable Thero, Vice Chancellor Sir, distinguished members in the front row, distinguished academics, presenters, authors, students, ladies and gentlemen. As the conference coordinator, it is my great pleasure and honor to extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to the 9th International Research Conference of IWU Vellasa University, IRCUWU 2025. IWU Vellasa University annually offers a platform for the researchers from varied arenas to present their research and discoveries. So this annual event serves as a vibrant stage for the exchange of groundbreaking ideas, latest advancements, and innovative research on a diverse fields of studies. So in view of this, IWU Vellasa University has conducted a number of symposia and international research conferences since its inception. So this year, we are excited to host the 9th International Research Conference as a hybrid event themed Smart Societies, Wellness, Innovation, and Sustainability in a Changing World. In fact, we all know that we were planned to hold this conference on 10th and 11th of December in the last year, but unfortunately, due to the disastrous situation in the country, due to high rainfall, flooding, and mudslides, we were compelled to postpone it. So therefore, today, we all have gathered here, not just as academics or professionals or thought leaders, but as co-creators of a vision, one that seeks to entail a deeper understanding of how our societies can adapt, evolve, and thrive amidst rapid transformation. So this conference encompasses 14 distinct thematic areas covering all prominent research disciplines, including agriculture, science, technology, management, medical sciences, human resource development, library and information sciences. So we have received a total of 688 abstracts, along with extended abstracts from local as well as foreign scholars representing countries like South Korea, India, and Bangladesh. So after a thorough review process, based on a marking system, 410 abstracts were accepted, and of which finally 369 abstracts have been published in the conference proceedings. So at this outset, let me now warmly welcome the chief guest of the IRCUWU 2025, the Vice Chancellor of the IWU Vellasa University, Senior Professor Kolitha Bandara Wijesekara. So we are honored to have you with us as our chief guest to grace this occasion. My special welcome will be extended to our esteemed internal and external council members. So your attendance today underscores the institutional commitment to research, extension, and international collaborations. Next, I would like to give a special welcome to the keynote speakers of this conference. So today we are honored to have two keynote speakers with us. The first, I would like to extend my warm welcome to Vidya Jyoti Professor Vajira H.W. Disanayaka, Dean, Chair, and Senior Professor of Anatomy of the Department of Anatomy, Genetics, and Biomedical Informatics, Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo, Sri Lanka. So, sir, thank you so much for accepting graciously our invitation and traveling all the way from Colombo, despite your busy schedules, and during these challenging periods of traveling to hilly areas during rainy period. So next, I would like to welcome our second keynote speaker, Associate Professor Michael A. Johnson from the Department of Chemistry at Kansas University in the USA, who will join us online. So, sir, thank you for joining us, and we are confident that your insights will be a highlight for our International Research Conference. The Acting Registrar, Bursar, Deputy Bursar, Acting Librarian, you all are warmly welcome to IRCUWU 2025. Next, I would like to extend my warm welcome to the Deans of the faculties. Senior Professor HMSK Herath, Dean, Faculty of Animal Science and Export Agriculture, Professor A.S. Ratnayaka, Dean, Faculty of Applied Sciences, Professor K.G.C. Senaratna, Dean, Faculty of Technological Studies, Senior Professor Mudita Vidana Patirana, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, Mr. A.M.D.B. Navaratna, Dean, Faculty of Management. Next, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our chief, the committee member or the chairman of Research Committee, Professor Chaturanga Senaratna, to this inaugural session. It is my pleasure to cordially welcome heads of the departments, directors of the centers and units, all academic staff members, administrative and non-academic staff members to the conference. I would like to extend my welcome to all the authors and presenters who are going to present their research outcomes both in person and online at the conference. So all the faculty coordinators, the editor-in-chief, and every member of the editorial board, along with track coordinators and their assistants, activity coordinators and activity members, member of the organizing committee, panel chairs, panel members, and reviewers are warmly welcome to this inaugural session. Especially, I would like to give a warm welcome to our all sponsors, including the main sponsor of this conference, Bank of Ceylon Supergrid Branch Badulla, along with all representatives from Avon Pharmachem Private Limited, Advanced Lab Technologies Private Limited, Australian Business Education Centre, ABEC Premier Candy Branch, Microtech Biological Limited, who are attending the inaugural ceremony. So over the coming sessions, you will have the opportunity to engage with distinguished keynote speakers, participate in insightful presentations, and experience the richness of interdisciplinary perspectives. Every paper submitted to this conference, every discussion initiated, and every question raised contributes to the collective growth of our fields. So thank you once again for joining us, and I congratulate all the authors and presenters an enriching, engaging, and memorable conference experience. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome address, and we sincerely appreciate your leading role behind IRCUWU 2025. Now, I cordially invite Professor Chaturanga Senaratna, the chairman of the Research Committee, to share his insights with this gathering.
Professor Kolita B. Vijaysekara, and our keynote speaker, Senior Professor Vajira Disanayaka, and the all deans, council members, librarian, registrar, Bursa, I forget our Venerable Vajisirtha, and our all staff members, administrative staff, and all presenters here for this conference, and all are gathered here. Actually, it's my great honor to present in front of you as the chairman of the research committee of UWL University and the director of academic research and publication unit of UWL University. As we know, as the UWL University, we believe that the research is not an isolated academic exercise, and it may be the driving force of the economy and the living standard of the country, as well as the global human standard. So, first of all, I will let you know that our vision of the UWL University to be the center of excellence for value addition to the national resource base. So as our research and publication unit, we are also strengthen the research component by giving research grant for our staff members, always our colleagues to other institute also. And we are encouraging our researchers with giving our research awards in every year, with identifying the highest researchers in our university. And also we are publishing a few academic journals. I will brief our journals. Now we have 6 journals with our UWL University publisher. And we are also publishing scientific magazines and newsletters also. And here, as our this kind of research conferences today, then we are organizing this 9th International Research Conference of UWL University. So, as well as this kind of research conference, this is our latest research symposiums we have organized by the UWL University. Faculty of Animal Science and Export Agriculture organized last month, organized National Symposium on Agriculture and Life Science, and also Faculty of Management last year organized National Conference on Rural Development, and Faculty of Science and Technology also host for the 15th International Forum on Eco-Technology, and also library, our UWL University Library will organize and will host for the 20th International Conference on Webmetrics, Informatics and Scientometrics. So this kind of several conferences are also going with our UWL University. And this is our history of International Research Conference of UWL University. Actually, at the beginning, we organized our conferences as national research symposiums. But after 2017, we turned this into international research conferences. At the beginning, we organized this as 100% physically. You can see this 591 publications, abstracts in 2019, the highest one, organized as a physically, 100% physically in UWL University. But later, with the COVID pandemic, in 2020, we turned this conference into online mode, 100% online mode in 2020 and then 2021. But later, in 2022 onwards, we organized this as a hybrid mode up to today's International Research Conference. Our coordinator, Dr. Chamil, and the team organized very well today conference. As he mentioned, we had 688 abstracts we received, and after reviewing, now we selected 410. Then, but in our conference proceeding, we have 369 abstracts today we are going to publish in this international research conference. As Dr. Chamil mentioned, in all over the world, abstracts are here. And as I mentioned earlier, we have 4 journals up to now, up to 2025. These are the journals we publish. This is peer-reviewed journals published by IRCUWU University. In 2026 onward, we have another 2 journals. Up to now, we have Sri Lanka Journal of Applied Sciences, Journal of Technology and Value Addition, Journal of Management and Tourism, Journal of Agriculture and Value Addition. You can see the published articles up to now. And this year onward, we have another 2 journals, UW Medical Journal and Journal of Entrepreneurship and Sustainable Management. Then actually I want to highlight some UW affiliated research publications. This is the graph. You can see how about the index journal and non-index journals and total journal articles published with affiliated IRCUWU University. As you can see that after 2019, we had a few drop, 2021, we had some drop with the publication. Sometimes, actually, this is because some COVID pandemic also affected, and also some of our distinguished researchers left our university because of the economic crisis. But then also, again, we are increasing our publication affiliated with IRCUWU University. And this is all the graph with including the conference proceedings also. In here also you can see 2019 is the highest publication we published. This is actually taken by the Google Scholar index. So all the UW conferences are indexed in Google Scholar. That is why this highest publication, because of actually this is from the IRCUWU in 2019. Actually, not only our researchers, we have some global recognized researchers with our university. We have researchers with the topmost 2% scientists in the world. Senior Professor Dinesh Jayasena, consecutive 3 years, he's in 2%, and Professor Sandun Nabiratna. And this is also our visiting professor, Sajeeva Mahachikumbura. He's now in China, but serves as voluntarily as a visiting research professor in IRCUWU University. And also, I would like to mention that Professor Amila Sandaruwan Ratnayaka, he's the winner of CVCD 2 times consecutively as the most outstanding young researcher as well as the most outstanding senior researcher in 2024. So national level researchers we have. And also I would like to introduce this our senior professor Sisire Dirivira. Also he is recognized as the international alumnum of the year 2025 by the Southern Cross University, Australia. So at the end, not only these researchers, we have number of researchers in IRCUWU University. And up to now, in 2026, we have total citation more than 12,500. And also now, as an institute, we are having H index in 42, and I-10 index in 185, and total index authors in here 250 plus. So we believe that we can improve this number in future by organizing this kind of conferences. Today also, I think 369 abstracts are here. That means we are giving some novel research here to enlighten our human society. So this is the photograph in UWLAS University. This is from UWLAS University. Our student taken this photograph. Milky Way captured in UWLAS University. Milky Way is the highest. Our universe has huge number of lights. Energy is there, enlighten this universe. But the hand, one light is here to enlighten this universe. Sometimes today, also, the published article may be one single novel research, but will enlighten this universe one day. Okay, thank you very much for this today's attendance, and have a nice day for conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your impressive presentation, which summarized how well that UWLAS University is aligned to the global research. And so my sincere thanks goes also sincere thanks goes to you for summarizing all these crucial figures. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure and honor that we introduce our chief guest for this conference, a renowned personality whose insights and accomplishments have left an indelible mark on academia. To introduce and invite the chief guest to this conference, I would like to invite Dr. Nayanthara Samarasinghe, the conference secretary, on the stage.
Venerable Thero, Vice Chancellor Sir, esteemed invited speakers, distinguished guests, academic, administrative, and non-academic staff members, students, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning to you all. It is both an honor and privilege for me to present our distinguished chief guest today. Senior Professor Kolitha Bandara Wijesekara currently holds the position of Vice Chancellor at UWLAS University of Sri Lanka. He is an alumnus of Kingswood College, Kandy. He earned his BSc Honours Special Degree in Botany and an MPhil degree in Plant Sciences from University of Peradeniya. In 2007, he completed his PhD in Molecular Biology and Biotechnology from the renowned John August University in Göttingen, Germany, highlighting his extensive knowledge and expertise. He began his journey at UWLAS University in 2008 as a senior lecturer. Throughout his tenure at UWLAS University, Senior Professor Wijesekara has rendered exceptional service to the Faculty of Applied Sciences as former head of the Department of Science and Technology. As the founding dean of the Faculty of Technological Studies, he has played a pivotal role in developing the faculty. Over the years, he has occupied various esteemed positions in both national and university level statutory boards. On a national level scale, he contributed as a member of expert panel that revised the general science, advanced level biology curriculum, participate in the University Grant Commission Steering Committee for University Harmony in 2017, and chaired the expert panel that developed subject benchmark statement for the Bachelor of Biosystems Technology. At the university level, Senior Professor Wijesekara was the inaugural chairman of Internal Quality Assurance Unit from 2013 to 2015. Additionally, he established the Center for Open and Distance Learning at IRCUWU University and was the chairman of University Library Committee from 2012 to 2015. Furthermore, he served as the founding chairman of Research Ethics Committee from 2018 to 2019. He was the first person to receive the title of Merit Professor at IRCUWU University and was recently promoted to the position of Senior Professor for his exceptional contributions to the scientific community. Senior Professor Wijesekara's research interests are diverse, covering areas such as plant biotechnology, biomaterials, plant nutrition and breeding, and chemistry of natural products. With over 17 years of experience, he has extensively published his research in prestigious peer-reviewed journals and conferences, making significant scholarly contributions. His research has not only enhanced theoretical frameworks, but also displayed practical significance in biotechnology domain. His commitment to furthering knowledge and addressing the real-world challenges continues to leave a significant impact both nationally and internationally. He was received various research honors at both national and international levels, including the President's Award for Research in 2002, 2004, and 2020. The National Research Council Merit Award and the Visiting Scientist Award presented by the German Academic Exchange Service for his scientific publications. In addition to his contributions to research, Senior Professor Wijesekara is renowned in academia for his leadership and mentoring. He has fostered the next generation of scholars by mentoring junior researchers and supervising a large number of graduate students. His instruction is well known for its depth, clarity, and capacity to motivate students to strive for greatness. In a nutshell, Senior Professor Kolitha Bandara Wijesekara is regarded as a prominent person in IRCUWU University because of his leadership, contributions, and intelligence in academic and beyond. His presence here now is a blessing. Please join me in welcoming our chief guest, Senior Professor Kolitha Bandara Wijesekara, Vice Chancellor of IRCUWU University, to the stage.
Venerable Thera, council members, keynote speakers, deans, registrar, distinguished invitees, academic and non-academic staff members who are gathered here today, presenters, students, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to be with you in this momentous occasion where you are holding the International Research Conference of IRCUWU University for the 9th consecutive year, which itself is a remarkable achievement. Congratulations to Chairman, coordinator of the symposium, all those who are in the organizing committee, the proceeding editorial board, everybody for this achievement. I'm sure that you have met with some challenges. Your initial plan was to hold this in last year, December, but due to the storm, you are compelled to rethink about that decision, and the decision was to postpone it to this year, February. So some of the arrangements had to be cancelled, reinitiated, so that I think has doubled the effort. So my thank you for the organizing committee, research chairman, coordinator, all is also has to be doubled. So thank you and thank you. So conferences such as IRCUWU serves as a vital platform for knowledge exchange, critical dialogue, and interdisciplinary collaboration. I noted that a lot of papers have been submitted, and then out of that you have selected like 370 papers. It's a huge number. So the numbers itself, or themselves, tells the successes that you have achieved over the years and the recognition for this event. I think 600 plus submissions alone is a huge achievement. That also gives you the confidence that you have in this annual event by the scientific community, local and overseas. That is very encouraging. So conferences like this enable researchers to share ideas, challenges, and challenge the existing paradigms and contribute solutions to pressing local and global challenges. The diversity of expertise and representatives presented here greatly enrich the quality and impact of this conference. I'm particularly encouraged by the active participation of researchers, especially young researchers and students who are among the presenters in the oral and poster presentations today. Your enthusiasm and dedication to research are essential for advancing innovation and strengthening the research culture within our university. The statistics presented by the chairman are really encouraging. So we have come a long way from few publications to 2,000 plus index publications. And some of our researchers have reached very higher standards in international arena. So it's a very pleasing thing that some of our researchers have been enlisted in highest honors and are among the first 2% of the research publications related grading in their chosen fields. So, like our chairman mentioned, that progress is a continuous process. So, I'm sure the next year statistics would be even better. And I commend all presenters and contributors and wish IRCUWU 2025 a very success. May this conference foster meaningful discussions, productive collaborations, and lasting academic partnerships. Thank you, and I wish you all a fruitful and inspiring conference. Thank you.
Insightful address. And to appreciate your eminent presence here today, I cordially invite Professor Chaturanga Senaratne, the chairman of the research committee, to deliver the token of appreciations. And to receive the token of appreciation, I respectfully invite the chief guest, Senior Professor Kolita Bandara Wijayasekara, the Vice Chancellor of Uvelas University, to the front. Thank you, sir. now arrive at a moment that promises to enlighten and inspire us through the insights of a distinguished scholar, one of our keynote speakers of this prestigious conference. It is my honor to invite Professor Chaturanga Senaratne, the chairman of the research committee, to the stage to introduce and welcome the esteemed keynote speaker, Vidya Jyoti, Professor V.H.W. Disanayaka.
Good morning again. Our chief guest and all the audience here. Actually, it's my great honor and privilege to introduce a truly distinguished academic clinician and national leader in science and medicine, Vidya Jyoti, Senior Professor Vajira H.W. Disanayaka. He's a professor. Professor Disanayaka is the chair and senior professor of anatomy, genetics, and biomedical informatics, and currently serves as the dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo. Vidya Jyoti, Professor Vajira Disanayaka, obtained his, I think he is all boy in Royal College, Colombo, and he obtained his bachelor's in medical and surgery from University of Colombo, and later he obtained his PhD in University of Nottingham. Actually, first of all, I want to mention at the beginning, I got the first introduction about Professor Vidya Jyoti Vajira Disanayaka from our senior professor Mudita Vidanapatirana. He mentioned that he's the person, if he starts something, he's continuing in that process and he's wait until the end of that process successfully. That's the most embarrassing introduction about our Professor Vajira. So then Professor Vajira is widely recognized as a pioneer and the leading authority in the genomics and biomedical informatics in Sri Lanka, whose work has shaped the direction of modern medical research and digital health in the country. With an outstanding scholar record, Professor Disanayaka has authored over 190 research publications, 13 book chapters, and more than 300 conference abstracts, achieving an H-index of 28 with over 3,400 citations. He has also made an immense contribution to human resource development by supervising 16 PhD and over 60 master graduates. Excellent. Many of whom now serve in key academic and professional roles. He's an excellent academic in our country. He, together with his students and colleagues, has been the recipient of more than 40 awards for research and innovation at the university, national and international levels. In recognition of his scientific achievements, he was elected a Fellow of the National Academy of Science of Sri Lanka in 2013. A Fellow of International Academy of Health Science Informatics in 2020, a Fellow of Commonwealth Medical Association in 2023, and Fellow of the Royal College of Physicians, evidence for global level scientists. He was conferred the National Tutor Honor of Vidya Jyoti in 2019 by His Excellency the President on the recommendation of Sri Lanka Medical Association in 2014. He was invited to a meeting of global leaders in genomics medicine in Washington, D.C., USA by the Institute of Medicine, USA, and appointed to the founding board of the Global Genomics Medicine Collaboratives that was established following that meeting. He served as the chair of the GGMC from 2021 to 2025. He has served as an expert advisor on genomics and digital health to the World Health Organization on many occasions. Professor Disanayake has held numerous leadership positions in medicine. He was the president of the Sri Lanka Medical Council from 2020 to 2025, president of the Sri Lanka Medical Association in 2012, and the president of Commonwealth Medical Association, as I mentioned, 2016 to 2019. The other leadership position held by Professor Disanayake, including President, Health Informatics Society of Sri Lanka from 2029 and 2019. President, Asia Pacific Association for Medical Informatics from 2019 to 2020. Vice President, Asia Pacific International Medical Informatics Association from 2019 to 2020. Board member, Steering Committee, Forum for Ethical Review Committees in Asia and the Western Pacific since 2010. Chairperson, Commonwealth Center for Digital Health since 2018. And Chairperson, Commonwealth Health Professionals and Partners Alliance in 2021 to 2024. He was appointed a member of Global Existing Security Threats Board of the Interaction Council of former heads of state of government in 2024. And I would like to invite you. This is the audience's views.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Vice Chancellor, Deans, fellow academics, students, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to talk to you this morning. And I'd like to begin by thanking the organizing committee for inviting me to be your keynote speaker this morning. I know that my friend and colleague, Professor Mudita Vidanapathirana, had a hand in it. And so Mudita, thank you for inviting me and being the catalyst for that. We have a long friendship going back to the days in the medical faculty in the 1990s. When I was coming here yesterday, driving all the way up to Uavelas, I was reflecting on my knowledge of your university, the association that I had with your founder, Vice Chancellor, 20 years ago, when he was, as a CEO coming from the private sector, setting up an entrepreneurial university. And I think when you look back on a 20-year history and the statistics that were presented, you can be proud of what has been achieved in the past 20 years and the visionary leadership that the current Vice Chancellor is giving you will take you to greater heights. I'm sure of that. As you heard, I'm the Dean of the Colombo Medical School, the medical faculty, which started as the Ceylon Medical School in 1870, 156 years ago. Today, my faculty has 20 departments and 40 centers. 160 academic, our cadre is 200 actually, and more than 1,500 students, undergraduate, and more than 500 postgraduate students. So you would say that it's a university by itself. That's the scale of the faculty that I run. And I say that for you to visualize what your faculties would be in another 150 years' time, beyond your time, beyond all our time. And it is important for us to reflect on where we are, but with a focus on where we will be beyond our time. And it is important, therefore, to be visionary in that respect and not be constrained by the boundaries set by sometimes the powers that be, but break those boundaries. And if I have achieved anything in my life, Mudita will vouch for it. That is because I broke all the boundaries that were there. Because if you were within the constraints, you would never achieve anything. So I invite you and challenge you to break the boundaries, look at innovations that will get you to the next level. This morning, in keeping with the theme of your talk, of your conference, I proposed the topic of precision public health for smart societies, integrating genomics and digital health for sustainable well-being. Because that is, and that should be our aspiration, keeping in mind the current trends of the world. In that process, we face challenges, but there are solutions as well, and mechanisms through which we can overcome those challenges. And there are the outcomes. The outcome, the overarching outcome, is precision public health that allows systems to act earlier, respond intelligently, and adapt continuously, even in resource-constrained settings. And you would see in the aftermath of the Ditwa disaster that we can replace public health in that outcome statement with every other field of practice that you are in. And that is what we need. And we have the tools to do that only if we think ahead, are visionary, and are not constrained by the boundaries that we face in the day-to-day life. The boundaries, the constraints that you face are the same boundaries and constraints that I face in Colombo. And therefore, it is universal. Those are universal, but that shouldn't take us back or put us back. Now, in preparation for this talk, as you know, we live in a artificial intelligence-driven world. And I've started training my AI models on my research, my work, the way that I think, and so on. And this set of slides that I'm showing you are the first set of slides I completely generated using my training model, using Notebook LM, which is available to all of you. And when I trained the model and said, this is my title, give me a set of slides, it gave me a set of slides, which perfectly aligned with what I was thinking. And I didn't want to change that. I thought I will share that with you because I'm professing that with all my colleagues. I'm driving my faculty to change and become users, early adopters of AI technologies, and so on. So when you look at traditional, when you look at traditional healthcare models, they are no longer sufficient. Building more hospitals is not going to solve the problem. Producing more doctors is also not going to solve the problem because they are leaving the country. Then we are, investing on them and they are being grabbed up by another place. So we have to become, smart. We have to think of innovative ways. So what are the challenges that we face in the health sector? The first one is the demographic transition. We have an aging population. Currently, 4 out of 5 people are above the age. The current statistics are there's 1 out of 5 people who are over the age of 60. In another 10 years, it will become 1 in 4. What does that mean for us? We have to reflect on that. There are going to be a lot of old people and fewer young people to look after them. What's happening in the other side? Our birth rates before COVID and after COVID have reduced 1/3. In another 5 years' time, about 2028, there will be 120,000 less children entering grade 1 of schools. How many schools are going to close as a result of that? These are things that we have to reflect on. So we are going to have less younger people also to look after those more older people. Are traditional models going to help us? No, they're not going to help us. What about the chronic disease burden? We have eliminated all the vaccine eliminatable disorders. We have the fevers that are coming, or continuation of COVID in various forms, which is not a burden. We have dengue. We have eliminated everything, malaria and all the other things. But we are now burdened with chronic disorders, diabetes, hypertension, ischemic heart disease, stroke, Parkinson's disease, dementia. These are conditions for which there is no cure at the moment. You contract it, you develop it, you will live the rest of your life with it. We are not going to put all these people in hospitals and look after them. 25% of our population is diabetics or pre-diabetic. So if that means 4 to 5 million people, are we going to put 4 to 5 million people in hospitals and look after them? The country will not run. Therefore, we need to look at different models. And then we have the effects of climate change, which is causing not only the disasters, but also the increase in global climate is felt everywhere. The effects of that are devastating us. And then there is global economic instability. The instability is not only ours, but it's everywhere. And if we say there is a financial crisis and put boundaries and prevent progress, then we will not be progressing. And that's unfortunately, that's what's happening in most societies, not only ours, even in the US. That's why, Trump went and put all of these barriers. And if you talk with your friends and colleagues in the US, they are also as equally distressed as us in certain instances. So we need to identify these and look at how we go forward. So the concept of smart societies demand fundamental shifts. The old models do not work. We need to look at new models. And sometimes I feel that, the older generation who are set in their ways are not the people who can drive these new models. And increasingly, I, for example, tap on to young people who want to challenge these old models to bring about change. And you, as a faculty of a lot of young people, are, in a way, ideally suited to bring about these changing models. They have to be proactive, systems design, and then operationalize, foster sustainable well-being. So we need to look at that. And you are in the best place to do it. In fact, I was just in the morning talking with one of my postgraduate students who trained in the UK. And he came and assumed duties in Badulla as the first board-certified consultant health informatician. A few months ago, I was interviewing him for his board certification Viva, and he said he's in Badulla, and then I asked him, what made you go that, sir? He said, I was posted there, and I think I can go and do new things, everything that I learned in the UK here, in Badulla, rather than in Colombo, where there are a lot of frames on which you have to work. And this is the kind of person you need to grab with both arms and, foster, because he is willing to commit himself to that development. And I'm sure lots of you here are like that. And given the background I heard from your Vice-Chancellor, I'm definitely sure he's committed to fostering you along those lines. So we have to define precision public health for the future. The public health is not mass and population driven like in the past. So you have mass scale vaccination, mass scale whatever, nutrition programs, mass scale, everything. That's what medicine was in the past. And we've achieved what we wanted to achieve with that. But the future public health, which is data-driven, genomics integrated, is going to look at stratifying populations into high risk, moderate risk, and low risk, and target interventions at these populations. And that is the kind of redefined thinking that we need to bring in. It calls for different models of thinking. Genomic medicine is redefining risk. It's redefining risk at individual level and at community level. Now, in my department in the faculty, we have over the past 10 years sequenced the genomes of about 1,000 Sri Lankans. So we know the background genetic makeup of our population. That information informs the individual level risks as well as the shared community risks that our country, our population is facing. And this is the kind of information that we need to bring in to refine medical practice along genomic medicine-driven models. We need digital technologies for this. We can't do this, using all models. We can't do it on a paper-based platforms. Today, we know if you go to banking, the commercial sector, everywhere, it's all data-driven and run on digital platforms. Why not medicine? In 2008, I started the Masters in Biomedical and Health Informatics program, Masters in Biomedical Informatics, and MD in Health Informatics program at the Postgraduate Institute of Medicine. At that time, when we started that the program, and we selected the first batch of students to come into the program, the Ministry of Health did not release the graduates. They said, we don't need these people. So for 6 months, we couldn't get the students released to come into the program. But eventually they did. And 5 years down to the program, by that 5 years down the line, everything had changed. And when we reviewed the program, the Ministry of Health said, can you produce more? Can you take in more people than what you are taking in? That was the kind of paradigm change that had happened. And today, in our health services, we have more than 300 master's graduates with masters in biomedical informatics, and more than 100 of them have gone on to obtain the MD in health informatics, and some of them, about 30, have gone on to become board-certified consultants in health informatics. No other country in the world has a program like that other than the US, which has a clinical informatics training program leading to board certification. So that's the kind of frame shift change that we have to do, knowing the future. And you as individuals would know the future of your field, your profession, and you should not be constrained by boundaries. That's why I said, if I had remained within the boundaries, I would not have done most of the things that I've done. And today, we won't be having a board-certified biomedical health informatics consultant in Badulla. That is the kind of change that we need to have. And here we've got the tools. We have now developed all the tools necessary for digital transformation in this country by ourselves in Sri Lanka, driven by Sri Lankan consultants. Sky is the limit for us at the moment. And as a result of that, our graduates, our consultants are now working in the WHO. They are working at CDC in Atlanta in the USA. They are working in all corners of the world, leading these initiatives. So there is a convergence of genomics and digital capabilities to bring about precision public health. And when I look at the sponsors of your conference, I know the genomic technologies that will enable you are here. That's why those sponsors are there. They're the same ones who sponsor us in Colombo. So you have to take the leadership. Genomics is not something that is alien. We just established a genome sequencing network coordinated from Colombo, covering Jaffna, Rajarata, Peradeniya, Ruhuna, and Eastern universities. I'll be happy to extend that and give our expertise to you, and we can have a discussion on how we do that. These are not rocket science. We can implement, and you can take the lead in that with the medical faculty here, and I'll be really happy to enable you on that. So we need to embed innovation into routine healthcare systems as well. We need to look at the infrastructure, new infrastructure, not building more buildings. We need to look at interportable digital infrastructure. We need to look at the governance mechanism for that and ethical and inclusive models. The ethics review committee you have set up can be, a catalyst for that, bringing the ethical models within governance. Then, of course, capacity development. We need to integrate these technologies into our curricula. Today, knowledge is at the fingertip. And we don't need to impart knowledge on anyone. I've been telling my faculty members, don't go and lecture. I don't go and lecture anymore. From the current batch of students, I stopped lecturing. All my content is on the LMS, and the students can interact me, and I can monitor every student. And if a student is faltering, I immediately trigger a response to we have all the faculty are student mentors, trigger a response to our student mentor, the relevant student mentor, to inquire into why that student is not engaging and not completing and not doing the work. So we can be at that level if we include technology, integrate technology. And then, of course, we need to work with the community more than ever before. Public is connected through media, social media, and others. We need to get into that ecosystem. Going back again, this is what I meant by interportable digital infrastructure. I will not, in the interest of time, go through every layer of this. Ethical and inclusive governance. I've highlighted the word inclusive because people have mistrust sometimes because they are not included in our discourses. So we need to include them. And all the elements, including the data privacy laws and others, are available in this country to give the overarching governance mechanism, and we need to use that. Capacity development and engagement, I already mentioned. So, proof of concept, we already have that, success in resource-constrained settings. What we did in the context of digital health in the country is already a success story. And we know it can be done. And the reason why we started the inter-university genome sequencing network was to create another platform like that. And we hope that we'll be able to do that. And let's get your university also on board. We don't have to go through cycles which other people have gone. We can leapfrog to the front. And that is also important for us to remember. And we have, if you look at this university, academics have come from with PhDs from around the world. So we can leapfrog. We don't have to be constrained. And the vision then should be empowered individuals, intelligent systems, innovating, adapting, responding intelligently in a sustainable manner, and acting early, predicting and preventing rather than responding. So-called smart society framework. framework for co-creating health ecosystems are there now, and we need to embrace it. Data-driven, participatory, and sustainably financed as well. So my appeal to you is to take the leadership. You are in a perfect position to take that leadership, and I would like to invite you to do that. Before I end, I'd like to lead you to this. Is Sri Lanka ready? If you want to look at the examples that I didn't describe today, go to this YouTube lecture that the E.M. Vijarama Endowment Oration I gave in 2021, which is available on YouTube. You will see examples on how we did this. Innovations which actually were recognized as the top innovations coming from around the world, done by our students with the correct guidance. And the message there then is what I told you is not aspirational. It is doable. There are models in which we have done that. And my appeal to you is take the first step in doing that. So with those words, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much for the invitation to talk to you this morning. And I hope that I have sparked a new way of approach, a new way of thinking, which will sustain you and guide you in the future. And we, as the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo, we have a Center for Health Systems Policy and Innovation that I chair now, I direct now. We'll be happy to engage and work with you to become, for the university, IRCUWU as a university, to become the catalyst for precision public health in this province and beyond. Thank you very much.
Truly honor for all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, so it's now time to extend our heartfelt appreciation to our distinguished keynote speaker, Vidya Jyoti, Professor V.H.W. Dissanayake, for the invaluable insights shared with us today. So I warmly invite Senior Professor Kolita Bandaru Wijayasekara, the Vice Chancellor of IRCUWU University, to kindly grace the stage and present a token of appreciation to our distinguished keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, so we now move on to a special and meaningful segment of today's event. That is the launching of the proceedings and the video highlights of IRCUWU 2025. At this moment, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to Professor Dinesh Jayasena, the Editor-in-Chief, and his dedicated editorial team for their outstanding contribution to the preparation of the conference proceedings in IRCUWU 2025. Their commitment have greatly enhanced the academic quality and the integrity of this research conference. It is with great pleasure that I now invite Professor Dinesh Jayasena, Dr. Chamil Nayanakanta, and Dr. Nayanatara Samarasinghe to kindly lead the official launch of the proceedings and ceremonially hand over the first copies to our distinguished invitees. May I request you to grace the stage, please. The proceedings will be presented to the chief guest, Senior Professor Kolida Bandara Wijesekara, the Vice Chancellor of IRCUWU University of Sri Lanka, and our esteemed keynote speaker, Vidyajyoti Professor VHW Disanayaka. May I kindly invite the respective invitees to the stage and receive the copies of IRCUWU 2025 proceedings. Gentlemen, we now invite you to take a brief journey through the research highlights of IRCUWU 2025. So this presentation features the selected key research findings.
second keynote address promises to offer valuable perspectives and deeper insights that resonate with the theme and the spirit of IRCUWU 2025. It is my privilege to invite Dr. Chamil Nayanakanta, the Conference Coordinator of IRCUWU 2025, to welcome our second distinguished keynote speaker, Associate Professor Michael A. Johnson from University of Kansas, USA.
Good morning to once again to everybody. It's a great honor and privilege for me to introduce our second keynote speakers for today's conference. Dr. Michael Johnson is an associate professor of chemistry and a faculty member of the neuroscience graduate program at the University of Kansas. His research integrates electrochemistry, neurochemistry, and advanced analytical technologies to investigate neurotransmission and metal signaling in neurological diseases. His laboratory develops high temporal resolution electroanalytical tools to quantify sub-second neurochemical events in living brain tissue, with particular emphasis on dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and zinc signaling in models of neurodegeneration and chemotherapy-induced cognitive impairment. Furthermore, his work has helped establish zebrafish as a powerful vertebrate model for real-time neurochemical measurement, and he has advanced the mechanistic understanding of how disturbed neurotransmission contributes to disease pathology. Dr. Johnson earned a BSc in chemistry from the United States Air Force Academy in 1988, and he then attended pilot training and embarked on a 10-year military career as an officer in the US Air Force, flying C-141 aircraft in the Gulf War and attaining the rank of captain and senior pilot. After his military career, he then received an MSc in chemistry from the University of Colorado, Denver in 2000, working with Donald C. Sapien on electrochemical characterization of ferritin at electrode interface. He then earns his PhD in chemistry from the University of Virginia in 2002 under the mentorship of Timothy L. MacDonald, where he studied his role of oxidative metabolism involving copper zinc superoxide dismutase in amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. He completed postdoctoral training as a John J. Wasmuth postdoctoral fellow at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill with R. Mark Whitman, where he specialized in fast-scan cyclic volatometry and electrochemical measurements of neurotransmitter release and uptake in mice that model Hutchinson disease. Since joining the University of Kansas in 2005, Dr. Johnson has built an internationally recognized research program in analytical neurochemistry. He has authored more than 60 peer-reviewed publications, including highly cited work in analytical chemistry, ACS Chemical Neuroscience, Chemical Reviews, and Journal of Neurochemistry, and his research has been supported by multiple NIH awards, including R1, R21, and SBIR funding. Dr. Johnson is an active member of the American Chemical Society, Society for Neuroscience, Society for Electroanalytical Chemistry, and the International Society for Monitoring Molecules in Neuroscience, where he has served in leadership role. He also serves on the editorial board of Bioanalysis. In addition to research, he is deeply committed to graduate and undergraduate training, mentoring students in interdisciplinary projects that bridge chemistry, neuroscience, and medical engineering. Please join me in welcoming Associate Professor Michael H. Johnson to present his keynote address online.
Neelu, you can continue the presentation, sir.
Okay, I can go ahead and start talking. Okay, let's see. Let me adjust my volume. Okay, just to check, everybody can hear me? Okay.
Hear you, sir. You can start the presentation, sir. We can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me to this this wonderful conference, and I'd also like to thank everybody who's in attendance. I'm really looking forward. I've been looking forward to giving this talk, and one of the themes is wellness, and so I would like to talk a little bit about something that addresses wellness, and that is some of the work that we've been doing in Parkinson's disease. Okay, now Parkinson's disease, as you know, is a progressive, or as you may know, is a progressive neurological motor disorder. It affects 10 million people worldwide, and that's expected to increase to 15 million by 2030. It results in a loss of neurons in the brain, and these are primarily dopamine releasing neurons. And so basically what happens in Parkinson's disease is that you have lots of neurons that cannot release the amount of dopamine that needs to be released, and therefore, for some reason my slides aren't working. And therefore it affects motor function. So let me, I don't know, one moment please, I'm sorry. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I think it's working now. And so what we wanted to do was we wanted to examine how zinc, which is a biogenic metal, can regulate dopamine signaling in models of Parkinson's disease. And so the pathophysiology that involves zinc involves, in Parkinson's disease, involves altered zinc levels. And these altered zinc levels can in turn result in increased levels of oxidative stress, which can in turn alter zinc levels. And this is a vicious cycle of dysregulated zinc signaling. Now, before I go any further, I think it's important to talk about chemical signaling in the brain and how neurons function. So a neuron is activated at the cell body, and this cell body fires. Now, axons project from these cell bodies, and so an electrical current or electrical signal travels down the axon and to a synapse, which is located adjacent to another neuron. It provides a signal to that neuron. Now, this signal is released from the presynaptic terminal via a process known as exocytosis. And for example, if it's dopamine, dopamine's released into the synaptic cleft and binds to proteins that reside on the opposite neuron and propagate some sort of signal. Now, there are lots of neurotransmitters that are released. The one we will focus on in this talk is dopamine, and the neuromodulator that we're going to talk about, that is chemical species that modify how neurotransmitters function. The one we're most interested in is zinc, and I'll talk about that in this talk. And so dopamine levels are tightly regulated by a protein known as the dopamine transporter. And so dopamine is released from presynaptic terminals, and these are in the brain. These axons project from the rear to the front, and these are boutons, and they act as presynaptic terminals, just like I showed you. And so dopamine is released, and it's taken back up rapidly by the dopamine transporter. And in this way, it regulates dopamine levels. And therefore, in the brain, dopamine levels are not too high or last for too long. Now, I mentioned glutamate neurons, and also I mentioned zinc. And so zinc is concentrated in synaptic vesicles in large populations of glutamatergic neurons. And so we could see vesicles here, and so these would contain glutamate and zinc. And so when zinc is released from these glutamate neurons, which are located in close association to the dopamine neurons, zinc can diffuse out of the synaptic cleft. And then in the extracellular space, it can achieve a very high concentration in a physiological sense of 10 to 20 micromolar. And so what does zinc do after this? Well, one thing it could do is associate with the dopamine transporter. And this is a structure of the dopamine transporter, and each one of these circles represents an amino acid. And so these are groups of amino acids that are embedded in the membrane of the neuron. This is outside of the neuron, and this part is inside of the neuron. And so zinc can associate with specific amino acids designed to associate with zinc on the human dopamine transporter. And so this is a histidine, and this is a histidine, and this is a glutamate. And so these three residues selectively bind. Now, the model that we're using is zebrafish, and zebrafish are simpler and cheaper than rodents to use. The adult brain contains 10 million cells and remains alive outside of the host. So that's because it is so small. So zebrafish brain is the perfect combination of size and also complexity. And this allows us to easy access to virtually all the pathways with our microelectrode. And so zebrafish also have been used to model Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and other neurological disorders. And so they're an effective model for us to use here. Now, the technique that we use to measure dopamine is fast scan cyclic voltammetry at carbon fiber microelectrodes. This is an example of a microelectrode. And the carbon fiber is about 5 to 7 microns in diameter, 25 microns long. We fabricate them in-house. And we're not going to get into all the details of fast scan cyclic voltammetry. However, we can collect 10 measurements per second that give us the dopamine concentration. And so as applied in this work. And so we can measure dopamine release and uptake processes as separate processes, so we can determine the maximum concentration of release, and we can model the back portion of the curve to obtain figures that represent uptake. And so the way we apply this procedure is in a zebrafish brain, we insert our carbon fiber electrode in the ventral telencephalon, and we have a stimulus electrode that provides a quick pulse and activates the neurons so that they release dopamine. And that allows us to produce a plot like this. And so we're collecting 10 points per second. When we stimulate, we get this increase in dopamine release indicated by this increase here. And then we get a decrease, and the back portion of this curve is a measure of how quickly the dopamine transporter is scavenging dopamine. And so from these data sets, we obtain peak dopamine overflow, or we call it dopamine stim or dopamine max. And we can also obtain parameters that represent uptake. This is a K, which is a first order rate constant. So basically it just tells us how quickly we're taking up dopamine. And T1/2 is the half-life, and that also is a measure of how quickly dopamine uptake is occurring. Now, in our first experiment, this was carried out by Dr. Sayuri Nyangota when she was a graduate student in my laboratory. And so basically what she did was she bathed a slice in zinc, and so at 100 micromolar zinc, you can see there's a dramatic increase in dopamine release, and at 0 micromolar zinc, there's just a small amount of dopamine release. And so we also noticed that it looks like there's a decrease in uptake. And so indeed, when Sayuri carried out this experiment on multiple fish, she found that there's an increase in dopamine stim, but a decrease in K and an increase in T1/2, indicating that release is increased and also uptake is decreased. Now, the problem is we cannot distinguish the long-term effects from the short-term effects. And so what we wanted to do was measure release that occurred really fast, and or measure the response to zinc that was applied really quickly. And to do this, we collaborated with Professor Sean Burdett at Worcester Polytechnic Institute. And he's developed these a line of photo cages that bind to zinc when you apply light at the proper wavelength and intensity. The affinity of the photo cage undergoes a chemical reaction, and the affinity for zinc dramatically decreases. This is the actual molecule that we used. And so you can see when we hit it with light, it undergoes a reaction in which it loses a carbon dioxide molecule, and then zinc pops off, and we can apply, this process happens really quickly, on the order of microseconds to milliseconds, and it also forms a couple of innocuous byproducts. The actual experimental setup is shown here. We have a zebrafish brain in a flow chamber, perfusion chamber. We're flowing artificial cerebral spinal fluid through this chamber to keep the brain alive. We use micromanipulators to position our carbon fiber microelectrode, our stimulus electrode, and an optic fiber that supplies light. Now, this optic fiber, the light that travels through this optic fiber is supplied by a mercury lamp, and we have a shutter that controls access of this light to the sample here. And so we can gate the light on millisecond timescales as well, so it's temporally compatible with our voltammetry, and we can control it with our software. A typical recording is shown here. So we start collecting at 0 seconds, and then we apply light for a given amount of time, known as T light. Then we wait a given amount of time, that time is known as T delay. And then we apply an electrical stimulus to determine the effects of the uncaged zinc. And so Dr. Pianka Hediarachi, then a graduate student in my lab, was the first to carry out these kind of experiments. And so first, she took a naive brain with nothing has been added, and collected stimulated release as a control. Then she applied light to the brain as a control. Light didn't do anything. We got the normal stimulated release pattern. She added caged zinc to the brain. That didn't do anything. And this is in the absence of light. And then she carried out an uncaging experiment in which she applied light in the presence of caged zinc. And she got this significant decrease in the slope. And this significant decrease in the slope is indicative of the dopamine transporter being immediately inhibited by zinc. And when she carried out this experiment on multiple fish, she was able to show that actually peak dopamine overflow does not increase, but uptake dramatically decreases. Now, we wanted to apply this method to study Parkinson's disease in zebrafish. And so we modeled Parkinson's disease by treating zebrafish with rotenone. So rotenone inhibits a protein known as mitochondrial complex 1, and this protein is involved in the production of energy. And this lack of energy results in the production treatment with rotenone results in the production of reactive oxygen species. This includes superoxide, hydrogen peroxide, and hydroxyl radical. These molecules associate or associate and react with just about any other molecule. They associate with proteins, amino acids, and nucleic acids. And treatment with rotenone results in the selective damage of dopaminergic neurons. Now, our experimental design was to treat the fish for 30 days add rotenone to the water at a concentration of 3 micrograms per liter. And so rotenone treatment, then Pianka carried out this experiment in which she carried out cage compound experiments in vehicle-treated fish and in rotenone-treated fish. And in the vehicle-treated fish, she got the normal patterns of release that we would expect. Okay, and then when she applied the cage zinc experiment, she got a decrease in uptake. And then this is what she got when she treated the fish with rotenone. So release overall was decreased, and it looks like uptake was decreased, but it was unaffected by the zinc. And so indeed, when she carried this experiment out in multiple fish, she found that vehicle treated fish didn't undergo a loss or a decrease in dopamine release, whereas rotenone treated fish upon uncaging of zinc did, which is something we didn't expect. Vehicle treated fish, as expected, showed a decrease in dopamine uptake in response to uncaging. However, rotenone treated fish did not. Okay, and so therefore, rotenone treatment allows zinc to inhibit release, but diminishes zinc's ability to inhibit uptake. Now, we wanted to understand further the role of reactive oxygen species in this process. And so Pianka designed this clever experiment in which she applied Tempol. So Tempol is an antioxidant, and it scavenges superoxide. And so in rotenone-treated fish and in vehicle-treated fish, Pianka treated each brain with Tempol. And so she initially collected dopamine release and uptake measurement in the naive brain, and then treated it with Tempol for 50 minutes, and then collected a dopamine measurement, dopamine release and uptake measurement. And then she treated the brain with caged zinc for 30 minutes, and then carried out a photo uncaging and electrical stimulation measurement, in which she measured dopamine release and uptake after photo uncaging, just like she had in the past. And so this is what she found. As expected in vehicle-treated fish, there was no change. However, in rotenone-treated fish, it appears that treatment with the antioxidant prevented the decrease in release. In vehicle-treated fish, what Pianka found was that there still is a decrease in uptake with treatment with after treatment with zinc. In rotenone-treated fish, there was still not a decrease in uptake. So in rotenone-treated fish, even treatment with an antioxidant, treatment of the brain with an antioxidant, did not restore the function of zinc in decreasing uptake or regulating uptake. And so we concluded that there are short-lasting mechanisms caused directly by reactive oxygen species that affect zinc's control over release, and there are long-lasting mechanisms that affect zinc's control over uptake. And so this led us to our proposed model in which reactive oxygen species production from mitochondria increases due to dysregulated intracellular zinc levels. And so this is the result of these reactive oxygen species, or these reactive oxygen species increase, and then they diffuse, and they can modify specific amino acids, especially histidine, which is particularly vulnerable. They can modify those chemically and permanently. And these amino acids, and it can modify amino acids such as zinc binding sites on regulatory proteins, such as the dopamine transporter. And these modifications hamper the binding of zinc to these sites, decreasing zinc's modulatory control over dopamine release and uptake. And so zinc essentially can't bind to the transporter and inhibit uptake. And so that's our proposed model. And that's something that we are pursuing at this point. And so with that, I would like to acknowledge the individuals who did the experimental work. So Sayuri Nyangota and Pianka Hediarachi did most of this work. Excuse me, Sayuri did the initial bath experiments. Pianka did the photo and caging experiments. Isabel Solowage and Jody Kearney were undergraduate students who worked during the summer in my lab. I'd also like to thank my collaborators, Sean Burdett, Austin Shigemoto, and my funding sources. This work is generously funded by the NIH and National Institute of Aging, and other NIH NIH agencies. And also, I'd like to thank all of my graduate students. So this is a these are a couple of pictures of my group. This is an older picture, and this is a more recent picture. This is at our holiday party in December. And so most of my graduate students are former Sri Lankan students, and we always have a really good time. And so, aside from, I really appreciate them, especially that they are really good, wonderful people and bright scientists. But I also really appreciate their cooking. So whenever they come to my house, they always bring this wonderful Sri Lankan food. And so that's always a good time. And so with that, I would like to thank everybody for listening to my talk. I apologize for the technical issues that I had. And thank you very much.
The real fruits of this effort.
Thank you, sir. I'm delighted to extend a special invitation to Dr. Nayanthara Samarasinghe, the Conference Secretary of the IRCUWU 2025, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Again, it is great honor and privilege for me as the Secretary of IRCUWU 2025 to deliver the vote of thanks at the 9th International Research Conference of Uwawellassa University, Sri Lanka. Today, we proudly witness the success of inauguration of IRCUWU 2025 under the theme of Smart Societies, Wellness, Innovation and Sustainability in a Changing World. This conference once again brings together academics, researchers and young scholars from diverse disciplines, fostering knowledge sharing, collaboration and innovation. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Senior Professor Kolita Bandara Wijesekara, the Vice Chancellor of Uwavellassa University. Sir, your continuous guidance, encouragement, and strong leadership have been the driving force behind the success of this conference. We truly grateful for your unwavering support. I also sincerely thank Professor Jayantha Balawardena, Chancellor of Uwavellassa University, for his kind wishes and blessings extended to this conference. Our deep appreciation goes to our distinguished keynote speakers, Vidya Jyoti Professor Vajira H.W. Disanayaka from University of Colombo and Professor Associate Professor Michael A. Johnson from University of Kansas, USA. Thank you for accepting our invitation and for sharing your valuable insights and expertise which greatly enrich this conference. I would like to acknowledge Professor Chaturanga Senaratna, Chairman of Research Committee of Uwavellassa University, and the committee members of their guidance and support throughout this process. My sincere appreciation is extended to Senior Professor Dinesh Jayasena, Editor-in-Chief of IRCUWU 2025, together with the editorial board and reviewers for their dedication in maintaining high academic standards and ensuring the quality of conference proceedings. A special word of thanks goes to CSI Dev team led by Dr. Subhash Aryadasa for their continuous technical support in formatting, designing, and finalizing the proceedings. I'm also grateful for all session chairpersons, panel members for conducting productive and thought-provoking technical sessions. We greatly acknowledge the generous support of our sponsors and partners. A special thanks goes to our main sponsor, Bank of Ceylon, Supergrade Branch, Badulla, and our sincere appreciation to Avan Pharmochem Private Limited, Advanced Lab Technologies Private Limited, Lima Creations Private Limited, Australian Business Education Centre, Microtech Biological Private Limited, and BCC Lanka Limited for their valuable contributions. My sincere thanks also goes to the IT unit and the audiovisual unit of Uwavellassa University, along with Mr. Jagat Kulatilaka for ensuring smooth technical operations and uninterrupted live streaming. This successful conference is a true result of teamwork. I warmly appreciate the dedication of organizing committee, including faculty coordinators, activity coordinators and their teams, track coordinators, track assistants, secretaries assistants, and all team members who work tirelessly behind the scenes. I also thank all academic, administrative, and non-academic staff members for their invaluable support. My heartfelt thanks goes to authors, presenters, both in person and online, for sharing your research and making this conference meaningful and impactful. I also extend my appreciation to everyone who contributed in any way to the success of IRCUWU 2025, though not mentioned individually. Finally, to all participants present here today, thank you for being part of this important academic gathering. As we continue with the technical sessions today and tomorrow, I wish you all a productive, engaging, and rewarding conference experience. Thank you.
For your dedication, which was invaluable in the success of this effort. As we come to the conclusion of IRCUW, the inaugural session of IRCUW 2025, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem. As we conclude the inaugural session of IRCUWU 2025, we look forward to witness this conference continuing as an ongoing forum for sharing research outcomes and encouraging thoughtful academic exchange among scholars and professionals. So ladies and gentlemen, the live streaming is being stopped at this point.